The greatest strength of Sung Jin-Woo lies in his mortal and powerful Shadow Army, a massive force that allowed him to become the most powerful being in the existence on his own. By using the skill Shadow Extraction, Jin-Woo can summon the shadows of the dead as his soldiers, harnessing the power of the Shadow Monarch. With this ability, Sung built a massive army of loyal soldiers, and later on, he inherited Ashborn's army, the army of the former Shadow Monarch. When this happens, Jin-Woo transitions from having a formidable army to commanding the largest and most powerful army in the existence. Some of Jin-Woo's shadows reach the level of monarchs and rulers themselves, showcasing their immense strength. And today I'm here to talk about them. Discover the most important shadows of Jin-Woo, his most powerful and significant named subordinates. And if you want to learn all of this and even more from solo leveling, join the Grid community by subscribing to the channel to support my work and get the best of the otaku world. Let's start with Igris, the first true follower that Sung Jin-Woo gained after becoming the Shadow Monarch. Igris is the shadow of the Blood-Red Commander Igris, currently holding the rank of Marshal in the Shadow Army. Igris is a knight, and his personality reflects this, loyal, honorable and chivalrous. One example is how he always kneels before his master after completing a battle in his name. Igris is an ancient being who once served Ashborn during his war against the rulers, and was later tasked with testing Ashborn's successor when the time came, and this was his role with Sung Jin-Woo. As a martial ranked shadow, Igris is incredibly powerful, rivaling Beryl and surpassed only by Bellion. With his full power, Igris was a fearsome opponent and a serious threat even to Monarch of Frost Silad. Igris is primarily known for his exceptional mastery of swordsmanship, being a master swordsman, the finest in the entire Shadow Army. In addition, he is a highly intelligent being who values knowledge, as demonstrated when he became the teacher of the other shadows and Sung Jin-Woo's son. Naturally, with his intelligence, he also excels in tactics and strategies, making him an outstanding commander. And let's not forget his immense physical strength, which allowed him to hold off a monarch on his own, aside from his remarkable agility, and the fact that he can use Dominion's touch just like Jin-Woo. Next we have Tank, the shadow of the monstrous polar bear that Jin-Woo subdued in the Red Gate. Tank, being a shadow derived from an animal, naturally displays animalistic behavior, relying primarily on brute strength to overpower his opponents or tearing them apart with his fangs and claws. However, Tank is also intelligent, as demonstrated when he teamed up with Iron to defeat the Orc Generals, though of course his intelligence is somewhat limited. Tank is a Night rank shadow, and displaces him in the lower ranks of Jin-Woo's named shadows in terms of power. Even so, Tank is as strong as an A-rank hunter, and was powerful enough to carve his own path through the hordes of formidable enemies. Now we come to Iron, who joined the army alongside Tank as the shadow of Kim Chu, a hunter who made the mistake of acting foolishly in front of Jin-Woo. Iron, despite originating from a human, behaves more like a beast. He is a loose cannon with the tendency to go overboard in battles, causing excessive destruction and not being the most intelligent in many situations. Nevertheless, he always fulfilled his duties as a shadow, and being an elite knight ranked shadow, Iron was incredibly powerful, boasting the strength of an S-rank hunter. His immense physical power was a defining trait, enabling him to kill a giant with a single blow in his head. In addition to his physical might, Iron possesses the Taunting Roar, which will draw the enemy's aggression towards him. However, by the end of the series, when Jin-Woo turns back time, Kim Chu Deaths is undone, and the Shadow Iron ceases to exist. But in the future, during the solo leveling Ragnarok, Iron re-emerges as a shadow of Suho after dying at his hands. Now let's talk about Tusk, the shadow of Kargalgan, a powerful High Orc shaman. Tusk, despite being an orc who once ruled over a large tribe, is surprisingly obedient, quiet and shy as a shadow, much to everyone's surprise. However, he also has a side to enjoy showing off and drawing attention whenever he gets the chance. Tusk is a general ranked shadow, wielding immense power, but not physical, magical. Easily possessing the strength of an S-rank hunter, Tusk can obliterate hundreds of demons with a single spell and even kill a giant with just one attack. As a shaman, Tusk commands a vast arsenal of magic, including spells of gravity, protection, fire, ice, status effects, and even boosts. This makes him unique among the shadows, being different from those who only rely in physical strength. thus is an invaluable ally in battles, holding his ground as a powerful support from the rear lines. Next, we have Kaisel, Jin-Woo's favorite mount, and the shadow derived from Kaiselin, the wyvern once ridden by the monarch Baran. Kaisel isn't particularly notable beyond his stunning appearance. He primarily serves as a Jin-Woo's means of transportation, carrying him and other people when necessary, but he is ranked as an elite knight, so although he doesn't engage in combat, he's kind of strong. And it's upon Beru's arrival that things take a turn, the shadow of the Ant King. Beru is someone born to kill, making him the perfect soldier. From the very start, he has incredible power and an insatiable thirst of blood. He is extremely brutal towards his enemies and never holds back, unless ordered by Jin-Woo. He is condescending, arrogant and emotional, but his strength matches the traits. However, he is unwavering loyal to his master, making it impossible to imagine him betraying Jin-Woo in any way. Beru is, of course, a martial rank shadow, second only to Belion in terms of power, and that's exactly what makes him terrifying. After all, Belion is another monster altogether. Beru possesses strength, agility and endurance that surpass the immense. It is simply absurd to fathom how strong, fast and durable he is. He is strong enough to defeat an Archlich with a single blow. He can break the Ice Monarch's prison and even sever the fingers of Monarch Keresha. He is fast enough to even S-rank hunters and monarchs struggle to see him, and durable enough to withstand direct hits from Jin-Woo himself. Moreover, Beru can absorb the abilities and knowledge of those he devours, and an example of this is that he can use hidden magic, a rare and powerful magic. Beru is a perfect combat machine, loyal only to his king. Then we have Jima, the shadow of a Naga boss monster from a gate that Sung soloed. He is an elite knight rank shadow with the strength of a typical S rank. He has an immense physical strength that allows him to topple giants with a single strike, and his unique skill allows him to grow in size using mana, making his strength even more effective in such cases. But Jima is usually seen commanding the other Nagas in the Shadow Army, so he doesn't stand out much otherwise. Thus, we arrive in Grid, the shadow of Hwang Dong-soo, an S-rank hunter and the only person in the entire series to make Jin-Woo completely furious. Unlike how he was in life, arrogant, criminal, shallow and extremely prideful, Grid as a shadow is fully aware of his crimes when he was alive, and this awareness makes him humble, quiet and highly subservient to his master. A notable example is his consistent habit of asking permission to speak and always using the appropriate honorifics. However, during battles, he displays a formidable bloodlust. Grid is a general rank shadow, extracted from a powerful S-rank hunter, and upon joining the Shadow Army, he becomes one of Jin-Woo's most powerful subordinates. His main strength, like many others, lies in his physical prowess. This is demonstrated when he shattered the Ice Monarch's prison by simply flexing his biceps, showcasing his immense physical power. And of course, Grid became a shadow because Jin-Woo wanted him to pay for his crimes even after death, showing just how furious Jin-Woo had been with Hwang Dong-soo. And just like Iron, by the end of the series, when Jin-Woo resets the timeline, Hwang Dong-soo's death was reversed. As a result, the Shadow Grid was erased from existence, while Hwang Dong-soo lived on with no memories of his past life. And finally we come to Belion, a direct servant of Ashborn and the most powerful shadow in existence, the Grand Marshal of the Shadow Army and the right hand of the Shadow Monarch. Belion is stoic and rarely shows his emotion. However, he is extremely loyal to Shadow Monarch, whether it be Ashborn or Jin-Woo, never questioning any action taken by either. By observing both monarchs closely, Belion comes to see that whether it was Ashborn or Jin-Woo, the two shared many similarities, with Jin-Woo proving to be the perfect successor to the monarch. Belion is a true warrior who believes that combat skills are the most important abilities one can possess. He is a serious individual who takes his position with utmost gravity, fully aware of his role as the right hand of his king. Originally, he was born from one of the fruits of World Tree eons ago, and in time he became Ashborn's lieutenant and followed him even after his death, as the first shadow created by the powers of death. When it comes to physical strength and speed, Belion is simply monstrous. Without any effort, he can endure and dodge Beru's attacks and then crush the Ant, hurting him significantly. He is a master swordsman and a whip wielder, using a sword that extends like a whip in a unique fencing style. However, Igris is still superior in swordsmanship, but Belion is the most powerful shadow by a wide margin, truly a total monster. And lastly, it's worth mentioning Jin-Woo's temporary shadows. These were beings that he transformed into shadows but didn't keep by his side. Starting with Minbyu-gyu, Jin-Woo released him into the Eternal Rest after he saved Shahai's life, freeing the shadow as a request of the White Tiger Guild and the shadow himself. Then there is the Ant Queen, who despite being incredibly powerful, Jin-Woo had to let go. As a queen, she had completely control of the Shadow Ants, which disrupted the chain of command. And finally we have Kamish, who although he wanted to stay by Jin-Woo's side after becoming a shadow, couldn't remain due to the long time had passed since his death, and this was a significant loss of potential. Those were Jin-Woo's most powerful shadows, his executives and named subordinates. And now, if you want more solo leveling, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to support my work and stay tuned for the next videos. Leave a comment too to prove you watched it until the end. And that is it for now. See you next time. I'm out.